Hey guys, Effie here. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card using our amazing Gardenia and Holly Branch stamp sets. I'm going to start off by rose gold heat embossing this beautiful, amazing Gardenia cluster onto some Canson XL 140 pound watercolor paper. And after I've stamped it in some sticky embossing ink, I'll spoon on some of our rose gold embossing powder and then hit the whole panel with my heat tool, melting all of that beautiful powder. Then I'll take the holly branch from our holly branch 6x6 set and I'll stamp it twice onto some additional watercolor paper. And then I'll just additionally rose gold heat emboss the same. Once everything's embossed, I'm going to watercolor using Ken Oliver Color Burst. I'm going to use the wet and wet watercoloring technique for all my images today. So I start off by wetting my floral first with some clean water, and then I start dropping in a little bit of alizarin crimson color burst into my bloom. And you can see the bleeding going on, and I don't really like those bleeding edges. So I take a second brush and I blend those edges out. I'm going to paint the entire gardenia using the Alizarin Crimson Color Burst. And then later I actually add some Wisteria Color Burst for a little shading. But after I look back, I wish I hadn't added the Wisteria because I wanted to keep it bright and Christmassy. And I should have just kept it to that one really bright red hue from the Alizarin Crimson. So I kind of regret adding the Wisteria, but you know what? At this point, I kind of just went with it and I just used it for my project because there's no going back. And I didn't feel like creating another gardenia. If you guys decide to recreate this project instead of adding the Wisteria, you can just add a deeper concentration of the alizarin crimson to the areas that you want shaded darker, because with color bursts you can do that. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I like to create Christmas cards or holiday cards using non-Christmas themed stamps. And this is a great way to stretch your stamps, because here I have this beautiful gardenia cluster that you wouldn't really normally see on a holiday card. But since I'm using some bright red tones, I get an instant holiday card, especially when I back it with our holly branch. So after I finish painting the bloom, I'm going to go ahead and start painting the leaves using Terre Vert color bursts. After I'm done with the leaves, I'm going to go ahead and start painting my holly branches. And for these branches, I'm going to use a combination of sap green and Terre Vert. I put on a first layer of the sap green and a little bit of the Terre Vert at the inner corners of each holly leaf to add a little bit of shading. But then I realized that the sap green was a little too light for me. The sap green color bursts are usually very bright, even when you add a little bit more of the pigment. So I decided to go back and add some more of the sap green to create brighter holly leaves, and then I went back and added more of the Terre Vert for a little bit of shading, and I love the result. I get these really beautiful and bright holly leaf clusters. I like it better than that washed out look. So once I finish painting the leaves, I'm just going to go ahead and start painting the berries with some alizarin crimson and then some burnt umber for the branch. Once I finish painting all of my elements, I'm going to take the coordinating dies and just die cut each image. For each die, I'll just place the cut side down onto my image, tape it down with some Thermoweb purple tape, and then I'll place the panels face down into my Gemini Junior cutting plate sandwich. Then I'll run the sandwich through my Gemini Junior and I get these lovely die cut pieces. Next up, I'm going to use our new modern plaid cling red rubber background stamp, and I'm just going to stamp this image onto a white A2 panel with our smoky quartz dye ink, which is a beautiful mid-tone gray ink. And to get a nice crisp stamped impression, I'm going to use my Speedball Baren tool to apply some even and firm pressure throughout the entire stamp. Then I'll take the largest die from our Double Stitch Rectangles large die collection and I'll die cut that A2 panel, and this is just going to add stitching to all four edges, and this is just a really nice added touch that gives the project a finished look. Once I've stamped my background, I'm going to take the 3-tiered banner from our basic banners 4x6 set, and then I'll stamp this in the same smoky quartz dye ink that I used for the plaid background, and this way we have some cohesiveness throughout our entire project. Then I'll take the Wishing You a sentiment from the same basic banners, and I'll stamp it in the first tier using our light onyx dye ink. Then I'll stamp the additional holiday sentiments from the add-on banner set in the same light onyx ink, and then I'll take the coordinating die and just die cut this beautiful banner. Now I'm going to start assembling my card with some dimensional foam tape, and I'll start off with the big bloom. I just placed a single piece of foam tape in the center of the big bloom, and then I'll just add the holly branches on either side using some square foams. Then I'll add my 3-tiered banner onto my card front using some more foam tape. And then lastly, I'm just going to start adding some more foam tape behind the areas that need to be supported because there isn't that much foam tape behind the bloom, so I just go back and just add more foam tape. Then lastly, I'll just add some of our gold medallion metallic sequins to finish off the card. And for the larger sequins, I'll just start tucking it behind some of the holly, which adds a little bit of interest to the card. And my card is now complete. I hope you all enjoyed today's project and video. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel because I update it on a weekly basis. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'll see you next time.